Hello and welcome back to my channel, Inspiring Life Design. My name's Karina and today I'm really excited to be talking with Claire Burley, who is a fellow Tony Robbins enthusiast and crew member, and also she's a Knowledge Broker Blueprint student as well. Hello, Claire.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome. So, would you like to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Claire Burley. I'm a clinical psychologist, and as Karina's mentioned, I'm also a crew member. And I'm based down in the south coast of the UK, down in Dorset.
So, we're going to focus on Tony Robbins events. My first question would be, what made you decide right back in the beginning to go to a Tony Robbins event? What was that push?
Yes. So I heard about Tony Robbins a few years before I actually attended my first event. A friend of mine actually recommended him to me when I was studying undergrad psychology. And he'd heard about Tony Robbins. He said, this is a great guy to kind of read about. So he gave me a couple of Tony's books. Mm-hmm. So I read, my friend actually was the book that I read first, and just really liked his style, really liked what he was talking about, and just became interested in him. Mm-hmm. But at that point, kind of didn't really know that much about him or that he even did events. And then I saw I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix, which was a few years later. Yeah, and just thought, wow, that looks incredible. So I phoned my sister up and I said, we have to go to this event. I then found out that his event was in Florida, but that he runs a different event, an entry-level event. And at that point it was in London. And so that's why we went to our first event. In 2018, we went to UPW as participants.
Yeah, which I think I was crewing at that year. I think I went in 2017. So I'd have been there too, but a lot of people there probably wouldn't have bumped into each other. Yes. And so how would you say, so that first event was Unleash the Power Within. How would you say that one impacted your life? What effect did it have?
Even though I was really interested to go, I'm really excited to go, I went with a bit of skepticism. And I think I just didn't want to just absorb everything. I just thought I was going to be quite selective maybe about the things that he was saying. But as the days went on, I just found myself getting more and more fascinated by what he was talking about, and how kind of coaching differed from psychology and from therapy, which is obviously the world that I'm used to now. And there are some key things that really kind of stood out for me. The firewalk obviously is the first day, and that was amazing. And at the time, I didn't know the theory behind why he was doing it. It was just, I'm going with it. I'm going all in. I'm not going to be here and say I'm not doing it. I'm totally going for it. And absolutely loved it. Thought it was fantastic. Really mind over matter. And then other things build on that. So then, day 2 and day 3 and day 4, the other kind of main exercise that stood out was the Dickens process. And it was a chance to really reflect on things that might be getting in the way of, feeling the way you want to feel, or thinking the way you want to think, and your life going in the direction you want it to go in. And what I found is that day by day, it was kind of really shining a light on some of these things and looking at whether or not these are the things that you want to be doing. And so I wouldn't say I had a kind of breakthrough moment in the first event. It was more like a sort of a drip feed. I just found that coming away and kind of going back into real life, that some of those ideas kind of kept popping up at different points, and it kind of just stayed in my kind of awareness. So it just started then the trajectory of change, and I think I built on that then by going back the following year and crewing. We decided to go back and crew in 2019 in London, which I know that's when we met. And I've been to other events since then. So it's just, I think, been built on. And I can honestly say, like, people say it changes your life. And I thought that's a tall order. I didn't feel a breakthrough moment at UPW. Yeah. But I can honestly say that by getting involved in the Tony Robbins kind of space, that my life has changed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally with you on that one. There's nothing I've known like it. So yeah, it's very exciting to sort of stumbled across this whole sort of world and community. So let's move on to crewing then. You've already mentioned that you did that in 2019. So what was the trigger that made you decide to apply this time to be on the crew?
Yeah, so I did notice the crew members when I was participating, and I was really curious, you know, what do they do? How does it work? You know, and all of that. Just got really kind of interested in this other world that seemed to be happening alongside the one that we were in as participants. Just thought, you know, I want to go back. I want to be back in that environment. I want to go back. I want to be a part of it, and kind of looked into crewing and finding out what it was like, and then speaking to people who crewed before, who were so passionate about crewing, just made me think, let's give it a go. Let's go and see what it's all about. And the experience really didn't disappoint. If anything, I wonder whether crewing was actually better than attending. And I think it's easy to say that because you've kind of heard all the content from having participated. So you're not going for the content as crew. The experience of crewing, being part of the crew family, and it is called family because it does feel like a community. Is part of the reason why it's so amazing. But it's also being there to help the participants to have the transformations. And for me, there's two things about that stood out. The first was on day one. So none of the doors had opened yet. Nobody else was in the arena before the first doors opened. And my sister and I, we went and positioned ourselves right on that door. Our position wasn't greeters or whatever. I can't remember what they're called.
Were you ushers?
We weren't. We just thought we want to be part of the, we wanted to be part of the action. So we went and positioned ourselves by that first door that opened. So that first door is, you know, Platts and Diamond, I think.
Probably.
I can't remember the grading. And just greeting everybody and getting that energy up to kind of let them know what they're in for. But kind of seeing people's faces a bit suspicious, like, what is happening? Why are you so excited, high-fiving me as I'm coming in through the door? But then by the last day, seeing the same people high-fiving, hugging, smiling, jumping around and thanking us for the experience, that transformation, and seeing people go through that was just incredible. And the other time when that really stood out was on the fire lane. So we were first anchors. So for anybody that hasn't crewed, and they're the people, and as a participant, you may not notice the amount of people that are looking after you on the fire lane. But first anchors are the people standing at the end of the fire lane to let you know that you need to wipe your feet and celebrate. So you see people at the end of the fire lane before they're going, and they're nervous, they're not sure what it's all going to be like, and you see a range of emotion on people's faces. And then you see them walk towards you, and then you see utter elation at the other end of the fire lane. Was incredible. I don't know how many people came down our lane, would have been over 100. Because it's 15,000 people at the event, right? And there's like 30 something lanes. So there's a lot of people that come down the lane, and you see that transformation in action in real time. So crewing was amazing. Absolutely going to do it again. It was a fantastic experience. And not because it's a way of hearing the content again, you get a different type of experience by crewing, and it's fantastic. As you know.
I couldn't agree with you more. And just back on the firewalk, I was second anchor the first year that I crewed. So I was the one who, as people came past the first anchors and had finished, got to celebrate with them. And just like you said, it was absolutely phenomenal seeing the change in people as they just can't believe that they've done it. Like, I actually still get a bit emotional when I think about it. It's a very emotive evening, and probably as a crew member, one of my favorite bits, working the fire lanes, is just amazing, especially with all the drums going and everything. It's very atmospheric. Great. So that's wonderful. I mean, I could talk about this all day, talking about crewing, but we must move on, because I'd love to talk to you about something that I haven't done yet. So I'm excited to hear about this, which is Mastery University. So obviously, when you go to Unleash the Power Within, you learn about the fact that Tony does other events. You've already mentioned, like, I Am Not Your Guru was filmed at Date with Destiny. But Mastery University is sort of a unique bundle of Tony Robbins events and products that are all packaged together.
Yeah.
So what triggered you to go for Mastery University? Because I haven't taken the plunge yet, and so I'm interested to know.
It's only a matter of time.
I know.
So I knew after attending UPW that I wanted to go deeper, and everyone said that's what Date with Destiny does. So I knew that I was going to do Date with Destiny. It was a matter of time. It was just about getting the timing right. But when I saw the package Mastery University, it just made complete sense to go for that instead, because you just get such fantastic value for that bundle.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Mastery University covers another UPW ticket often, but I think that's not an official thing. I think that's sometimes a promo thing.
Okay.
So check that one when you're looking into it. But it covers Date with Destiny, it covers Life and Wealth Mastery, and it also covers 6 months worth of Tony Robbins coaching. So not with Tony Robbins himself, but with one of his coaches. And I found fantastic value from the coaching. It was incredible. My coach, Lucas, was amazing. And it just helped to kind of tailor make the parts of kind of Tony's interventions and Tony's theories, sort of tailor make it to your own specific needs, and was a way of kind of having a repeat conversation. You know, it's not a one-off conversation. You're kind of going over these things a few times, and so you're able to kind of tweak things. You know, this bit worked, but that bit, can I talk about, you know, and it was just a way of being able to embed it a bit more. And I found that was a fantastic part of the bundle. So I did the coaching first, and then the second part was to go to Date with Destiny, which I did in December 2019, which was amazing. It was incredible. It is different to UPW. So UPW feels like it's a lot about the triad for people that have been. So remembering that triad, it's a lot about state, what state you're in. So we do a lot of dancing, a lot of high energy. It's very uplifting to go to UPW. Date with Destiny doesn't have the same kind of atmosphere. It's not about the high energy as much. It's more about the depth. So he goes a lot deeper. And that's one of the things I would say about Date with Destiny that really adds value, is it's slightly slower, so you have a bit more chance to think about things. I mean, they're still jam-packed with stuff, and it's a long day, so there's still a lot of information, but you do get a chance to go a bit deeper than you do at UPW, which is a little bit more, you know, kind of covering some key themes, but you don't get to go into the depth that you do at Date with Destiny. And the other thing that's really great about Date with Destiny that I loved was the interventions. You know, he pulls people out of the audience to talk to them about, I mean, he doesn't know what they're going to talk about. And so everybody's sharing different things. The way that he approaches it is different every time. And you're seeing it in action. You know, it's live right in front of you, where he's talking to somebody. And there were some pretty serious topics being discussed. You know, it wasn't superficial. There were some people there that were really struggling. And, you know, and the people that talked and shared their story just made the event. It was so emotional, and what it's a smaller in terms of numbers. So it's about 5,000 people at Date with Destiny versus about 15,000, 14,000 at UPW. Yeah. So it's a slightly smaller number, but still feels quite big. Yeah. But what you find is those 5,000 people are hanging off every word of the person that's talking, and they're feeling it, and they're rooting for that person, and they celebrate with that person. It's the most incredible atmosphere of support for that amount of people to all band together to support somebody is incredible. And so, you know, there's so many different ways that Date with Destiny is amazing, and that's just a few of them. So I absolutely loved it. It is pretty intense. It's long days, so you are kind of encouraged to look after yourself, make sure that you kind of, you know, you get food and you get some rest. But it's an incredible experience. So that's a fantastic part of the bundle.
How many days is it compared?
It's 6.
Yeah, 6 days. Yeah, I couldn't quite remember.
Yeah.
So it's quite, I mean, that's nearly a week, for goodness sakes.
And it's quite long days.
Long days.
He really does go late. And then even when he finishes, oftentimes another speaker will come out and do a bit more. So there's quite, you know, they're maximizing your time there. You know, you really are getting value for money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that from UPW and Business Mastery that I went to last year. so I did have some more questions around the Date with Destiny side of things. Obviously, we know that you went and you had a great time. But before you went, can you think back to what you, because obviously before you go, a bit like me, how I am now, like I've heard things, I've watched I Am Not Your Guru, which by the way is on Netflix. If anybody hasn't watched it, it really is a must watch if you love this sort of stuff. What were your expectations of Date with Destiny before you went to it?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you don't really know what to expect until you get there. And I feel a bit about that, about Life and Wealth, which I haven't been to yet, which I know we can talk about in a minute. My expectations for Date with Destiny was really that it would go deeper. I tried not to overthink it. I didn't know how it would go deeper. I didn't think, is this going to be relevant to me or is it not? I just thought it's going to be more of something I know is valuable. You know, this stuff from what I learned at UPW and what I learned from the coaching, my expectation was that Date with Destiny was going to be more of the same, but in more depth, and those expectations were met. That is what happened. But I got you know, more than I bargained for. You know, there's other aspects of Date with Destiny that I didn't know about, and some of them I won't share because I don't want to spoil it for people that are going to go.
Absolutely.
But there are parts of Date with Destiny, like buddying up, that you don't get at UPW. So you get to pick a buddy on your first day. You get teamed up, so you go around in teams and you get to pick a buddy. And so by talking with your buddy about what you're thinking about and how you're processing the information, you're kind of naturally getting a bit more out of it than if you were just sort of sat thinking to yourself. So they're the things I didn't know were going to happen. And I kind of like that, because, you know, I think if you go with too much expectation, you've got a possibility of being disappointed, or it not being quite what you think. If you go and you just think, you know, I'm going to just be open-minded and see what's covered, you'll get value from it.
That is my favorite way to go to an event, or to approach most things in life. Always go with like no expectations, or even low expectations, and then prepare to be, you know, delighted with when it's better than you'd sort of imagine. So it's a good way of looking at things, I think. And so since you've got back from Date with Destiny, would you say there's anything that you've changed, or are you feeling any different?
Yes. So as everyone who's been to an event will say, that you have a bit of a buzz afterwards.
Oh yes.
That you sort of are on a bit of a high, in a really good mood, in a really peak state, and that feels great. But a lot of people will say it doesn't really last, and that's not the thing that's supposed to last. You know, it's not about that. I did have that buzz for quite a long time, even though I was poorly. I did have a buzz afterwards for a while. It's not that I mean, knowing that you can get into a peak state is very helpful, because you know you can change your state and sort of shift that up a gear. But the things that stayed with me were more of the content, really. So he talks about something called primary question, which for me was a really pivotal moment of exploring that and really thinking about, what is the question that you ask yourself every day? That we all go through life, we wake up in the morning, we go through our day, asking ourselves a question. What is that question? If it's a negative question and our brain answers it, we're having negative thoughts, and that will affect our feelings and our behaviors. So he goes through the process of, you know, throw that negative question out and let's have a new primary question, which is helping you to get in a better state and to be appreciative of things and to think about things in more positive ways. And it sounds such a simple thing, but actually it's made a huge difference, because I didn't realise I was asking myself that question.
No. I mean, I say no. Like I feel the same. I'm like, I can't think of a question. I'm asking myself.
And you know what Tony's like? He's like, you know, he'll talk you through it in a way where you go, okay, now I understand what you're talking about. And so, you know, that's something that has a real practical application, that it's an everyday thing, and it really does an impact on so many different aspects of your day, of your life, of your thinking. So that's been a real change. But I'm actually in the process of going back through everything. One of the people that I went to the event with, you know, we're talking, going through the book again, because you know, repetition is really helpful. So
Absolutely.
kind of going back through the information again and again and just really embedding it and really making sense of it. And every time you kind of read a section, you know, you can think about it again, or think about it in a new way, or think, you know, am I actually doing the things I thought I was going to do about that, or changes that thought I was going to make? Have I actually done that?
Yeah.
So it's a really good way of making sure that those changes last.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, you've gone to an event, you've had a good time, and you come home and it's all kind of come back to normal. You know, it's not about that. It's about, we need a new normal, and these are the things that are going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. While I'm sat here, I'm just getting these ideas pop into my head of like, oh, I should create a business mastery group for people who've been, so we can work through it, and then UPW one as well, because you are right. Like when you're at the event, you come out and you're buzzing and your head is full of it and you've got all the content there, but over time it kind of ebbs away, and you just remember the absolute most poignant bits. But I don't want to lose that. I want to keep refreshing it. So and I think it's almost nicer to do that with others than necessarily just, and you know, I do from time to time get my, because the books are like this thick as well, aren't they? And so I do get them out and go through them, but it's not quite the same as, you know, sharing a little bit like this with other people, you know, reminiscing. So
it's really good to talk it out, because as well the other person can challenge you a bit if, you know, if there's something you haven't thought of, or if they see it from a different perspective, or even that they're sharing their thoughts on that topic, can be really helpful in terms of shifting your mindset. Because sometimes we can just get stuck, can't we, in our own way of thinking. And so if we're just reading the book back, you know, we're maybe not getting the most value out of that, whereas having that conversation with somebody else can be really helpful.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. So amazing. I'm so going to be going to Date with Destiny soon. Can't wait. So Life and Wealth Mastery, that's the other part of the Mastery University bundle that you bought, and I have heard really great things about it. I know that you've booked to go this year. Now, one thing that that is interesting to me anyway about Life and Wealth Mastery is it's not a live event by Tony. It's what it really is, one of Tony's events. It's all of his content, but his trainers and other people come in and run it. So how do you think Life and Wealth Mastery is going to differ to your UPW and Date with Destiny experience based on sort of that?
So just like thinking about Date with Destiny before you've been, I feel like that about Life and Wealth. I really don't know what to expect. And so I think there is a little bit of having faith that it's going to be good. From past experience of knowing all of the other events I've been to have been good. So I'm expecting it to be the same. I don't know what it's going to cover. I think it will be different in that Tony's not there in person, so it's going to be speakers instead, and other people, like you say, coming in to kind of run sessions around different things. But it feels like it's kind of completing the loop. You know, this is a bundle that focuses on all aspects of life. So Life Mastery, I believe, is focused a lot on health as well. So having good habits that are taking care of you, and Wealth Mastery is about your financial health. So he's kind of completing the loop, and so I'm just keeping open-minded to see what it's all going to be like. And you hear snippets of things, so I know that there are poles involved in Life Mastery, so you have to climb up and jump off a pole. I'm assuming that's going to be similar to the fire walk, where you're it's your mindset,
comfort zone pushing.
This is a guess. And the other thing I've heard, and again I don't know if this is true, is that you sit on the floor for Life Mastery. I don't know if that's true. So and the other thing I've heard is there's a detox plan, and I know that is true because I've had the information through about that. So there's a cleanse and sort of healthy eating plan. I think it's plant-based. I don't have all the facts about that. It just feels like it's going to be quite a holistic completion of all the other things I've done up till now. So we'll see. I'm really excited to hear how you get on at it, and what in particular Life Mastery is like, because I love day 4 of UPW. I mean, I love all of the days, but day 4 for me
always, it can vary each year because the content gets updated, and all the different people who come in to talk to you about different elements of health. It's probably one of the days that had the most profound effect on me when I went as a participant, because I went along thinking I was going to learn, you know, personal development stuff to do with my mind, and I came away and completely changed my eating and drinking habits. Like, this was not what I expected, but yeah, it was quite profound. And with Life Mastery, I think it would be wonderful to go and see, okay, how, you know, get a bit more about that and see, you know, what kind of products can I use? How can I do this better? I've made some changes, but what can I do that's
So there's an option to do it. So I thought life was 4 days and wealth was 4 days.
Yeah.
But I believe life is 5 days and wealth is 3 days.
Okay.
So it's an 8-day event back to back. They put them obviously consecutively. And for the detox plan or the cleanse plan or whatever they're calling it, you have the option of either just doing it for the 5 days, just doing it for the 3 days, or doing it for all 8 days.
Oh, right, okay.
So I just thought, as I've approached all of these things, I'm all in. I'm doing it for the 8 days, and I'm just going to see what it's all about.
Wow. Yeah. That's do. I'm excited to hear about that.
So this year it's in Noordwijk, I believe. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly.
Is that in Holland, in Netherlands?
Yeah. It's just outside Amsterdam. Yeah. It's the beginning of August. So looking forward to that.
Is it a nice, have you seen, is it a nice like resort or hotel or?
Yeah, it's on the beach.
Lovely.
I didn't know how many beaches were in Holland. My geography's not great. So I looked it up. Yeah, it's an incredible looking hotel. It's right on the beach. It's not far from the airport, so it's easy to get to. And Amsterdam's not far from London where we are, so not that we're in London, but we'd fly out of London. So it just feels really easy to get to because a lot of the events are in the States. Life and Wealth is held mostly in Fiji, which for us is a long way away. I heard great things about Fiji, but it's like it takes 24 hours or something to get there. So I just thought, for ease, let's go with Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. It's nice to be able to have an option in Europe. I think they always try and have at least one a year, I think, of the Life and Wealth Mastery. So
it's helpful.
So I think I've pretty much managed to get through all of my questions. We've made good time today. So is there anything else before we go that you want to say about Tony Robbins events, or that you can think of? Or
I think people that have been will know what we're saying and why we're excited about it. People that haven't been, I think because people feel so passionately about Tony Robbins, it can freak a few people out. I've heard the word cult mentioned.
Cult, yeah, I've had that thrown at me as well, and it's like, no, it really isn't.
Because it's not really about Tony, and I know that's probably a bit of a controversial thing to say. It's not really about Tony. You know, he delivers it. He for sure brings that. It really is about the impact on you for going. And whether that's in the moment because the events are so amazing in terms of how connected you feel to others and what peak state you can get into. The events are amazing, but it's also about what do you do with that when you get home. You know, it's not that you're going to passively hear this stuff and somehow it's just going to change everything. You know, it really is about implementing. So that's the only thing I would say to people thinking of going. Go, have a great time, check it out. The reason why people are passionate is because they get, you know, really emotional and really moved and really high energy and really peak state by going, and that's why people are passionate. It's not about worshipping Tony, it's about how amazing it feels to be in that peak state. And then when you get home, it's about implementing, you know, really practicing, embedding, you know, and keep trying, you know, the content, and that's how you get the most value. Great
summary, love that. Awesome. So is there any way, if anyone here would like to connect with you, do you have any like social media accounts or things like that?
Sure, yeah, I'm on Facebook and on Instagram, so I'll let you have my details and you can pop them wherever they popped.
Down below.
So yeah, sure, if anyone wants to check me out on either of those platforms, you can find me on there. Coming out of Date with Destiny, I just met so many people who were single and wanted to meet a partner who understood the self-development world and were also sort of self-improvement themselves. So I just thought, right, we'll set up a group. So set up Tony Robbins UK singles group for anybody that wants to connect, who are single and dating but in the self-development world. So I've got that group. I'll let you have the details of that. And then the other group that I run is an adoption group for adoptive parents, because that's my day job. So if there are any adopters out there that want to connect with other like-minded adopters, I'm building a community as a supportive place for people to come and connect. So if you have any questions about that, get in touch and I'll help you out with those. So I'll give you all of those details so you can pop them in. Thank you.
We'll put the links below. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Claire. Wonderful. So that is it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, then hit the subscribe button. And if you push the bell, it means you'll get notified every time I put a new video out. And we will say bye for now. See you next time.